everybody, this is a quick video to explain your challenge for the week. Now, this is kind of an art challenge slash writing. So I am going to give you a day-by-day account of what I would like you guys to complete. This is only a suggestion though, so I know that some people have other jobs to be doing and different bits and bobs that they're helping their parents with. So don't feel that you absolutely have to do everything on the day that I've suggested. But if you are looking for that timetable, absolutely go for it. And if you want to follow that to the letter, then you can. I will post or have already posted a timetable on the school's website. So if you check that out, it will explain all the different tasks that you have to do. And I will post a link to that on the Class Dojo message board as well. So let's get straight into it. This is going to be your art slash literacy challenge for the week. Okay, first I'm going to give you an overview of what you guys are going to achieve this week. So the idea of this week's challenge is that you are going to study a famous artist. Now, I am going to give you 3 suggestions for artists that you could study. These are artists that if we were in school, we would possibly have studied anyway. So it'd be really nice to learn a little bit more about them. We've also learned about Pablo Picasso this year, Vincent van Gogh and Marc Chagall. So if you want to revisit those artists as well, and if you want to do your project on those, that's absolutely fine. But these are my 3 suggestions for artists that you could study this week. Number 1, Henri Matisse. It's spelt like this, but instead of saying Henry, I'm going to say Henri because it's French and the H is silent. So he looked a little bit like this. French artist. Came up with some really amazing work. I'm showing you one of his most famous pieces right now. If you would like to do your project on Henri Matisse, I will post a little link below to a place where you can find some information about him and facts and things that will help you. So check those out. Suggestion number 2 is a female artist. Now, quite a lot of the artists that we study in school are male, so I thought it would be nice to mix it up a little bit. And this is an artist who was really famous for painting self-portraits. And as you will see from this picture of her here, she had quite an unusual look about her. So she was from Mexico and really famous for doing these self-portraits. And so, yeah, she's a really interesting one to have a look at. So if you fancy doing something a little bit different, studying a female artist, which is something that we haven't actually done so far this year, then check her out. She is super cool. Artist number 3 is Henri Rousseau. And again, another French artist, another Henri. He's not Henry, he is Henri. And he looks like this. And this right here is one of his most famous paintings. Now, had we been in school right now, I had plans to do a whole project all about this particular painting. It's called Tiger in a Tropical Storm, and it is one of his most famous paintings. And he was really sort of famous for creating these beautiful landscapes and using very vivid colours. And he was just an amazing artist. So, yeah, just a really interesting guy as well. With these 3 artists, I have posted in the sort of description a selection of different websites that I have pre-checked, so I know that they are safe and appropriate for you guys to go on. I will also have a little list of other ideas of places that you can go to find out more about these artists. Now, I am personally very happy for you guys to look on other websites for information about these artists. However, We know from our e-safety in school that we don't just go floating about on the internet and going on whatever websites we want. So if you're going to do that, boys and girls, you please must check with a parent or a carer before you go onto any website you fancy. So those are 3 suggestions of artists that you could look at this week. You are welcome to study other artists if you wish, but those are just suggestions. What are you actually going to do though? I am going to give you a day-by-day list of suggested things that I would like you to do. If you want to do more than one of these steps in a day, that's fine. This is just a suggestion. I haven't given you a suggestion for Friday because this Friday is a bank holiday. So this will be a 4-day project. Monday morning, the first thing that you are going to do is you are going to have a look at the list of artists I have suggested. You are going to decide which artist you would like to study this week. Once you have decided which artist you are going to study, you are going to go to some of the suggested websites that I have posted in the description. You might also be lucky enough to have some books about these artists at home, and you are going to find out as much about them as you possibly can. So you're going to do a little bit of reading. There are a couple of videos that I can suggest that you watch as well. And if you are lucky enough to have your own books about artists at home, you are absolutely welcome to go and find out some facts from those books. Once you have done a little bit of research, so say for example, I am researching Frida Kahlo. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to do a bunch of reading. I'm going to find out some facts about her, and then I am going to write a list of facts all about Frida Kahlo. Now, in the next day or two, I am going to be writing a fact file about Frida Kahlo. So I want to make sure that I have got enough facts so that when I write my fact file, it isn't just a tiny little paragraph. It's going to be at least a whole side of A4, probably more. If you were in school and you were writing a fact file, that is what I would expect. So that is what I also expect when you are at home. In fact, in school, we would probably produce 2, 3. Some of you, when we wrote about Vera Lynn a while ago, some of you wrote 3 or 4 pages. So I think that one full page of A4 should be plenty. Okay. So I've gone online, I've done a bunch of reading, I've watched some videos, I've taken some notes. I'm going to have a minimum of 10 facts. Remember, the more facts you have, the easier it will be for you when you write your fact file. So I'm going to use either a piece of scrap paper or a notebook if I have one to hand to write down my 10 facts. It would be great if you could send me a quick snap of your facts just to show me that you've done it. I'm not going to worry too much about handwriting and things like that at this stage because you're just doing a bit of research, so don't stress too much. A really good thing that you can do when you're doing your research is to organise your facts in chronological order. What that means is in order of time. So if I'm researching Frida Kahlo, I might find out where she was born, what her school life was like, what it was like when she grew up a little bit more, maybe a little bit about her career, and then perhaps if she's dead, if she's alive or dead, when she passed away, that sort of thing, her later life. So I'm going to try and do it in order of time, in chronological order. That will help me when I come to do my writing, I promise. Okay, so it's Tuesday's challenge time. I'm going to explain what you're doing on Tuesday. Now, remember yesterday I asked you to figure out which artist you were going to study this week and also to find out a minimum of 10 facts about that artist. Today, you are going to start planning your fact file. You don't need to write a whole fact file today. You are going to plan it and you're going to start drafting it. I am going to show you how I have started my own plan. You absolutely can do it the same way as me. You don't have to. It's kind of up to you. I'm not going to tell you how you need to plan it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the facts that I wrote down yesterday and I'm going to put them in the right order. So you can see here, I have chosen 4 headings for my fact file. So I'm going to have an introduction. And in my introduction, I'm just going to say who Frida Kahlo is or was and why she's famous. Then I'm going to write a little bit about her early life, her childhood, her career, what sort of style of painting she did, why she became famous, that sort of thing, and then her later life down here. So you can see that I've done that in chronological order. So I've got her early life, then her career, then her later life. So I've split it up that way. You can kind of decide for yourself what your paragraphs are going to be about. I also am going to include, and this isn't really a paragraph, it's just an extra bit that I decided to do. I'm going to do a list of her famous paintings. That is not a paragraph, it's just a little bit extra that I'm going to add on because it's quite easy to do and it's like extra writing. So you could also do like a fun fact box if you find out some random facts about your artist. This is just my plan, and what I am going to do is I am going to write down now some of the facts into my plan for when I write it up. Okay, so this is how I'm planning mine. I've got my 4 different paragraphs in chronological order, and what I'm going to do now that it's Tuesday, is I'm going to take the facts that I found out yesterday and decide what paragraph I'm going to put them in. So if I decide that actually I don't have many facts about her later life, about Frida Kahlo's later life, I might need to go back and find out some more facts about her later life to go into that paragraph. So I'm only going to write bullet points, really a few short sentences in each of these sections for today. I might need to go back and do a little bit more research if I don't have enough facts. And when I have got a couple of bullet points in each of those, 2 or 3 bullet points in each of those, then I know that I am ready to write my whole fact file tomorrow. Okay, so it is now Wednesday. This is what you need to do for your art slash literacy challenge today. So Monday, you did some research, you did some reading, you chose what artist you're going to study. Tuesday, you started planning your fact file and thinking, you know, what's going to go in each paragraph. And you should now have a list of 4 headings, at least 3 or 4 headings. I chose to have 4, and have a bit of a rough idea of what's going to go in each heading. Just to give you a quick reminder, I chose to have an introduction, a paragraph about her early life, a paragraph about her career, and a little bit about her later life. I'm also going to write a list of the most famous paintings that she did. Now, your job for today is to write up the facts that you got on your research mission. Now, when I say write up, I'm going to tell you what I don't mean. I am not going to copy exactly off the website that I used exactly the same words. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for you to copy words out of a book. I'm not looking for you to use the same words as somebody else. Now, I will have a fairly good idea if you've done this because I suggested the websites that you looked at, so I can have a little look. And if the words that you have written are exactly the same as what appears on that website, then I will know that you haven't done as much as you possibly could. I don't expect you to write pages and pages and pages. I'm only looking for a sort of a short paragraph for each section. So a total of about a page, maybe a little bit more. So it's not that you need to do lots and lots and lots and lots of different paragraphs. It's not massive writing, but I do expect you to think for yourselves and to use your own words. So I am going to start with my introduction. I'm going to give you an example of how I would write my introduction. I'm going to start with a really simple sentence. What I'm trying to say in my head is Frida Kahlo was a super famous lady painter. That's what I want to say. But that sounds a bit boring. It sounds, I haven't used my best vocabulary. It's a bit dull. I need to maybe lengthen it out. I maybe need to think about some interesting vocabulary that I could use. That's what's in my head. That's what I'm trying to say. But I want to make it sound a bit fancier, a little bit more like a year 5 sentence. I want to make it sound a bit posher so that I impress people with my incredible vocabulary. So I'm going to up level it. Watch me go. Okay, so you might have seen me sort of scribbling out things there. I'm going to show you what I've written, and I'm also going to read it out to you. Firstly, I started with this sentence. This was what was in my head. I was trying to say Frida Kahlo was a super famous lady painter. I didn't think that sounded very fancy, so I took my simple sentence and I expanded it and added lots of vocabulary. As you can see from my work, there is lots of scribblings out, crossings out. I've changed my mind on several occasions, and that is absolutely okay. If I had just gone with the first thing that came into my head, my sentence wouldn't have been as good as it is. And it may also be the case that you change things later on. So you might write your work and then actually try and use some more interesting vocabulary. I will... well, I already have given you some suggestions of vocabulary that you could use in your work. So take those and try and apply them into your work if you can. You can also get ideas for vocabulary by looking back at my Mrs. Wordsmith videos. So you can see here that I've used the word innovative, which is a word that we used in class a while ago. We learned the word introverted the other day, so you could have a look at that video and see if you can include that in your work as well. So I will be on the lookout for Mrs. Wordsmith words in your writing. Right, here we go. Instead of saying Frida Kahlo was a super famous lady painter, I have up-leveled that. I've added some more interesting vocabulary, and this is what I have written. One of the world's most renowned creative visionaries, Frida Kahlo will be remembered for her distinctive image, her innovative style of portraiture, and her impressive way of portraying female subjects as strong rather than weak or submissive. So I had to look up a few kind of interesting words there. I did also realise that I used the word innovative twice, so I changed that to impressive, and I've crossed that out. So I've chopped and changed my mind, but a really good way of starting this piece of writing is to start with a simple sentence and then make it sound fancy. So today, what I would like you to do is I would like you to work through the facts that you wrote down yesterday in your plan. So remember, you had like a couple of facts in each one, and I would like you to up level each of your facts to make it sound fancy like I just did just then. So that is your challenge for today. I'm really looking forward to seeing your work. Please do send me a picture. I am not going to be cross in any way if your work is a bit scribbly and a bit messy like mine, because this is not about you guys writing loads and loads and loads. It is about you guys making sure that you have the most fantastic vocabulary in your work. And I would really like to give you a little bit of feedback on your work. So for example, if there was a paragraph that you were really struggling on, I can give you a few suggestions, just like I would if we were in school, about how you can improve that. So, you know, things that you can then add in to make it a little bit more interesting. Okay, so it is now Thursday. Your challenge for today comes in 2 parts. Now, the first part is to write up in neat your fact file from yesterday. You will notice some of you who emailed me your work and your drafted version. I've given you a little bit of feedback, a few suggestions on how to improve things. So I would like you to write up your work really, really neatly, really, really beautifully, just as you would do if we were in class. Now, remember on Monday, I said that I don't expect you to write pages and pages and pages. 1 page is kind of your minimum. But if we were in school, we'd be doing maybe 3 or 4 pages. If you guys come up with 1 page and is absolutely stunning and it reaches the exact high standard that I would expect if you were in the classroom, then 1 page is enough. If you do 2 pages, that would be kind of your target really. So your minimum is 1 page of writing and your kind of target ideally would be around 2 pages. But if you have 1 page and it's got loads and loads and loads and loads of pictures on it, then that doesn't count. You're going to need to write a little bit extra, okay? But I absolutely expect the same standard of handwriting as I would if you were in school. Now I know that sometimes that can be difficult, but I have seen some really, really incredible presentation on the work that you have been sending in. So I want you to ask yourself that question. Before you write, ask yourself the question, would Mrs. Thompson expect this standard of presentation if I were in school? If the answer to that is no, then you need to start again, okay? I'm going to leave that decision with you. I'm going to, you know, parents and carers, if you're watching this video as well, your children are incredibly capable with handwriting. We have got some of the most stunning handwriting in Year 5. And if you think that the child that you are working with has perhaps not tried their best when it comes to handwriting, then absolutely parents and carers, ask them to write it out again. You know, we're a bit mean sometimes in Year 5 and we've got very high standards because you guys are super, super clever. So we want to make sure that we keep those standards up. So challenge for Friday comes in 2 parts. If parents and carers, you are happy with the standard of part 1, then children are allowed to progress to the fun challenge, which is part 2. Okay, so the second part of your Thursday challenge is to recreate a piece of artwork by your chosen artist. There are several ways that you can do this. So if you have art equipment at home and you would like to create a beautiful painting or a self-portrait, I'm going to be doing a self-portrait because Frida Kahlo was really famous for doing self-portraits. You can absolutely do a painting or a drawing or a sketch or whatever you like, inspired by that artist. If you don't have lots of art equipment at home, or if you just prefer this option because it's a bit sillier and a little bit funner, then this is option 2. Okay, so option 2 is inspired by something that I saw when I was floating around on the internet the other day. I noticed, or I saw an article about a gallery in Spain, I think, who have challenged people to recreate famous paintings. Now, obviously, people can't go to art galleries at the moment to see real pieces of art. So what they have done is they have created a challenge to recreate a famous piece of artwork at home. Now, I have already done this part of the challenge, so you have to promise to not laugh when you see my attempt. What we did was we found some little bits and bobs around the house, nothing expensive, we didn't buy anything new, recreate that image, and this is the result. Okay, so we took our famous painting and we recreated it and took a photo. Have fun, have an amazing week. If you have any issues, any problems, please do get in touch, and I look forward to seeing you all soon. Bye.